Okay, all right. That may be a little bit too loud. Let me know if you guys can hear my mic going. Probably to turn it down just a bit. Let's see. Let's put this thing on. Open plugin interface. Yeah, let's just turn this down a tad. It's a bit too much gain. There we go. That should be good. Let's see. Yeah, that's coming in a little nicer. Okay. How is Castle Dark going? We can hear you. Awesome. It's cutting out a little. Okay. Noted. Let me see. I probably just gotta get a little bit closer to the mic. It's a condenser mic, so you gotta talk like right at it in order for it to hear you. Okay, awesome. Wow. Let's see. It's been a long time since we've streamed. I know last time I meant really did mean to make this. I'm just turning my volume down. I really did mean to, you know, continue the streamathon the last time we streamed, but you know, that did not go well. But something that did go well is the work on Castle Dark, which I can't wait to talk to you guys about because things are looking really, really good for it. Let's see. All right, so I guess we'll just get started then. Let me just switch it over. Here is what I'm working on. You guys get to see this. This was not planned at all. So I'm just gonna load up all the, just gonna put this in the RAM real quick by just playing it. And then we'll get to work on it after while I answer some questions. Let's hope this doesn't crash. Okay, so let's see. What kind of mic do you have? I have the AKG Perception 120, the P120 by AKG. Really cost-effective, well-built mic. I love the thing. It's awesome. Let's see. All right, gotta enable all the layers. Make sure everything gets in there. Yeah, this seems pretty complicated. A lot of high-resolution photos in here. Not photos, images in here. So glad to see you guys joining. This was not planned at all. I just decided to do it, you know, to get some more motivation to finish up on Castle Dark. All right, let's do this. Let's get down to work. Not really feeling the techno vibes too much, so I'm gonna skip this one. But for anyone who wanted to know what this is called, it's non-standard deviation by abstraction. That is non-standard deviation by abstraction, but I'm gonna skip it. Okay, let's get started. This is a good question that, let's see. Rover 259 Wild asked, do you use 12 FPS, 24 FPS, or 15 FPS? And I always use 24. I think there's really no reason to use a lower FPS when you're animating. Like if you're gonna use 12, animating on ones at 12 FPS is the same thing as animating on twos at 24 FPS. The benefit of 24 though is that if you have a moving background like I do in this scene, it'll look very, very smooth, very cinematic. But if you do that on 12, at 12 FPS is what I mean to say, then the background's gonna look really, really choppy. So beginner animators always just use 24 FPS. Learn the art of in-betweening and don't mess with the FPS, the frames per second too much. Once you learn the art of in-betweening, you really won't need to do that anyway. All right, let's get started. So what I'm doing now today, Just gonna draw in some of these background characters in this scene. I'm going to hide all of the layers behind this. So let's see. Oh, I see. Maybe just the clouds. Probably best be the hall. There we go. That's a little better. A little more focused. All right. So when you have something like Adobe Animate versus OpenTunes, I commented on it because that's what someone said in the chat, that it's better. I think they're both very different programs. Of course, one is free. So for me, the choice is always OpenTunes because it has what I need and a little bit more features that appeal to me more than Adobe Animate does, per se, the camera, you know. So many effects. The effects engine in OpenTunes is really good. Very useful. Let's take one of these pencils just to sketch out. Looks good. Increase that. Okay. What am I doing? Who's at this chair? I have to look in the reference real quick, y'all. This screen's gonna be paused. Maybe I'll just play it for you. Let it continue to load. I have to look in the reference to see who is sitting in that chair. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Okay, there's two people standing here. All right, cool. This track's kind of nice. Sorry if this is completely disorganized. I think that's sort of the point of this stream. Let's see. Okay. Do you deal with burnout often? I'd be surprised given how much work you do. Oh, what's going on, Snowball? Yeah, I deal with so it's difficult. Burnout's more of a maintenance thing. I think the reason that I started this stream. Sorry, that's Windows notifications. The point of this stream is because I was feeling a bit of that burnout, and so to sort of force myself to work, I decided to start streaming. You know, I think that usually helps. You know, force me to get it done, and it's interaction with you guys, which is awesome. So it's kind of having the community there was a source of burnout relief somewhat. You know, because I could always just hop on, and if they wanted to watch, they could watch. Draw along, do whatever they want. So yeah, I do deal with burnout a lot. It's sort of a maintenance thing. You got to make sure your burnout doesn't get in the way of your work. Changing up the scenery is, I think for me, one of the number one ways I fight it. And that's like what I'm doing now, streaming my work instead of just working on it offline. And guys, I do love to stream, and the reason I don't stream all the time though is because I need to focus on the work at hand. You know, sometimes when I'm streaming, it's difficult for me to really just focus on the work at hand. So I just decide to, you know, keep it offline and then really just focus on the work. But for when I'm dealing with burnout and I've been focusing for a long time, it's really nice to have you guys here. Thank you. Watching, asking questions, because it really, like, you guys help more than you know. So it's not just, I want you guys to know, it's not just the patrons who can support the work via donations, guys. It's all of you guys, and I thank you guys so much, because you know, the project wouldn't be where it's at without you. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Castle Dark release date. I know when you're excited for a project, like for me, I would love to have a release date. And I can't really give you one, but I am gonna address the question because I know it's something that a lot of people want to know. What I have to say for this live stream, and I'll just stop beating around the bush, is that Castle Dark is almost done. We are on right now. We are on the second to last scene of finishing work. This is farther I've ever. Of course, it's the farthest I've ever been at this project, but this is like the farthest I've ever been in the animation of this scale, and it's just so exciting. We have one more scene to go. Like, I'm doing final animation right now, as some of you guys know. There was no sketch for this, so I'm obviously sketching this pig right here. But we're in the final animation phase. The rough animation was completed a long time ago. All I have to do is go in and draw the lines for the next scene, colors, shading, effects, and then the film is done. Like, it's, of course I have to do corrections after that, but let's see, the core film, what's it called? The film itself, like the animation will be complete, and then I just have to do corrections after that. So this is like the most exciting time for this channel because it's just, we're so close, you know, so close. So yeah, as for the release date, don't take this as an official release date, because an official release date will be given. And if it's different than what I say now, you know, don't be mad at me. Things happen. Very complicated workflow here. So it'll probably be in the next month or so, because I remember I told you guys December, right? And it's December now. And I set myself up a schedule to follow to make sure I can get it done by December. And here we are in December. It's not quite done yet, but we're really, really close. The good thing, I'm glad that I'm not working for any company with deadlines, because that would not be a good situation to be in. But we're almost done. And so since I'm an independent animator, you can just kind of set your own deadlines. Of course, take them seriously, which I did. The past few months have been, you know, a lot of work, but it's been good. It's been really, really good. Nice and productive. But if I don't meet a deadline, it's not the worst thing in the world, you know. So that's why I usually don't give you guys too much info, because I don't want you to, like, what's it called? To be disappointed, you know. I know how excited you guys are for this project. I think a lot of you are almost as excited as I am, you know. Let's see. Shout out to Heave Animations, keeping up on our Discord. Let's see. This reminds me of Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, that's a big compliment on my end, because I had a big inspiration from Winnie the Pooh. I think this person is a bit too small, because that chair is not looking correct. He should be something like this. Maybe like that. Let me get another reference in here. How big is... Okay, that looks all right. Where it's at. Okay, let's see. Do you like animating more or doing the storyboard process? I do both, but storyboards are pretty fun. Nah, I gotta say it's animating for me. And see, that's why having different kinds of artists is good, because some people really enjoy different parts of the process. My favorite part is doing the keyframes, breakdowns, extremes. That's just like, that's when I'm in it. My mind is working so hard during that phase. I really feel like I'm challenging myself. That's my favorite part of the process. But it's cool to see that you like doing the storyboards. I haven't done those in a little while, so maybe I'll like it too. I haven't done them in a while. Let's see. Yeah, I remember there's a video by a YouTuber named Howard Wimshurst. Many of you probably know him, seen his videos. It was a video about, should we listen to music while animating? And I thought that was interesting, because, you know, I feel like he's the kind of person that could definitely listen to music while animating. You know, his animations almost look like music, the way that I can't even explain it right now. I won't go on too much of a tangent. But for me, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing this, sketching out a character, absolutely not. I cannot listen to music. Well, I'm listening to music right now, so it's not too bad. But this is kind of like background music. If I was listening to like music that I like to listen to, my favorite songs, I probably wouldn't be able to focus too much, just because I like those songs so much. But if I'm doing something like this, like a sketch, it's pretty relaxed. I guess I can listen to music, but I usually won't. If I'm doing line art, music is perfectly fine. It's so monotonous. You can kind of just turn on any music and it won't really, to me, it doesn't bother me. But if I'm doing animation, like I said, my favorite part of the process, if I am doing keyframes, extremes, or breakdowns, I cannot listen to music. There's too much thinking going on for me, and the music is very distracting for me. So yeah, I do. It just reminded me of that. That was a good video that he made. All right, let's see what else is in the chat. Can OpenTunes export with transparent backgrounds? Yeah, it depends on what you export as, though. Like a PNG sequence can definitely do it. I know Darren T has a video on WebMD which can do it, I think. So yeah, let's see. Have you ever experimented with brush settings to make new ones? I haven't yet. I think I saw your post and you showed me the brush settings. I think since then I haven't, but I do really want to. There's so many things I want to do. I'm just, you know, once this film is done, I'll be able to be like, the channel will be different, but in like a really, really good way. Well, it won't be so much, you know, Castle Dark production focused. I hope to post more videos, you know, be a full-time YouTuber, and consistent with my posts for once. So that's going to be a fun time. After this film is done, we're just going to have a lot of fun here on the channel. At least I hope so, you know. So, yeah. Don't want to guarantee anything because you never know. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Have you ever rigged puppets, or have I only done frame by frame? Yeah, that's one of those things I definitely have to do. I never rigged a puppet in my life. It's surprising. I've done 3D animation. That's a bit different though, as many of you know. Oh, this one's kind of nice. I like this song. I've never rigged a puppet before. One of my favorite games I have is called Broken Age. It's a point and click, and they use that sort of style of animation with, like, you know, painted characters, but the characters are all painted, but they're puppets, and I really like the art style of that game. I've always wanted to try puppet animation. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to trying after this film is done. You know. Let's see. I really like this one. Do I like Tahoma or OpenTunes more? I think for now I use OpenTunes just because Tahoma doesn't work too well for me. But for some people, it's the opposite. To some people, Tahoma works for them, and OpenTunes doesn't work for them. So it really depends. But really, for features-wise, Tahoma is where it's at. You know. Let's see. How am I gonna do this? Let's see. Just like that. What is this person doing? Just taking a stand, getting a break from sitting. That's definitely good to do. Just looking over the potty a little bit. Let's see. Having a little what's it called? Party. Okay, let's see. You see how I can't even think of the words I'm saying? I'm trying to say the word party, probably one of the first words I learned when I was a kid, and I can't even think of it because I'm drawing and there's music going. That's probably why I don't usually listen to music while I do this process, because, you know, gotta conserve my brain power. Let's see. Let's just kind of see. All right, he got this there, and then he has a cape just like the one right here does. I'm looking at the, if you want to see what I'm referencing right now, the Castle Dark trailer, you can watch. I'm looking at the crowd to see which pig is where. Excuse me 1 second. I will be right back. What's my favorite part of making Castle Dark? It is the rough animation, figuring out how things are going to move and whatnot. That has to be my favorite part. It was a lot of fun. It ended quite a while ago, so what I recommend for you animators out there is to, I mean, maybe just I'll recommend it for myself, but I can extend it to you guys because, you know, not everything that works for me is going to work for you. But to keep the process like fresh, like one of the things, and this is a little tip I would do differently for Castle Dark next time, episode 2 would be to do the storyboards. Like I probably finished the storyboards, right? And then I do rough animation and final animation all at once. So finish one scene, then go to the next scene, rough animation, final animation. I think I might do that because it'll keep it fresh. That way you're practicing rough animation and final animation at the same time instead of doing all the rough animation and then doing all the final animation at once like I did here. And it's like it's been a long time since I've done any rough animation, you know, so you keep yourself fresh that way. Let's see. Love from India. Hey, what's going on? It's so amazing to me that people across the world can be viewing my stream. It's really cool. Okay, let's see. What's my animation schedule? I think usually just every day I try to put in something. I think I've gotten past the point where a schedule has been beneficial because there's more Windows notifications. Actually, that could not have been better timed. That's my Castle Dark alarm, if you heard that. I have an alarm on my computer to work on Castle Dark. It just went off like 4 times. I can't believe that I was reading that question when that happened. That is amazing. So yeah, that's my schedule. Right about now, I just start working on Castle Dark. But as for like a schedule, I'll probably have more advice on that after the film is done because right now, I am just I'm not rushing, but I'm racing to get it done. Yeah, because I'm not really rushing. Would be like, I'm sorry, these vibes are off. Rushing would be like, you know, sacrificing quality. Okay, let's see. Let's go down a little bit. Do you listen to lo-fi? Yeah, of course. I think there's lo-fi on right now. Yeah, lo-fi is one of my favorite genres. Let's see. How long do you work on Castle Dark a day? And do you take days off? Yeah, I take days off, around 2 a week. And I work maybe for that's hard. It depends on the day because this is crunch time, so it's going to be close to like 2-3 hours. Have you ever animated on paper? Not yet, but that's going to be a new video. What other softwares are you familiar with? I am familiar with Krita, DaVinci Resolve, OpenTunes, and by extension family like Tahoma. Let's see. Oh, and I'm getting used to Blender again. So I started animation in Blender. I'm getting used to it again. Are you thinking about making tutorials in Krita in the future? Yeah, definitely. I'm using Krita a lot more. I actually painted all the background assets in this scene we're working in now in Krita. So I'm starting to get to use it more. Because since I've always used it for Castle Dark backgrounds, I have used it professionally, I guess you could say. But I'm getting to use it, like I'm starting to actually know what I'm doing instead of just kind of winging it. So yeah, we'll get some tutorials maybe. Let's see. Make this just one. There you go, like that. Perfect. I like that. Okay. Do you ever use raster textures? I'm using all raster layers right now because vectors are a bit too slow in OpenTunes. What will I do after Castle Dark? Make videos, have some other smaller projects. That's going to be a lot of fun, so I can't wait. So basically, you can't really multitask. Okay, so here's the thing about multitasking. And you can say I'm wrong about this, and that's totally cool. But multitasking kind of doesn't really exist the way you think it does. Because if you try to do two things at once, the chances are you're going to do them both not great. They're both going to suffer in quality. But if you really focus on something, you give it the ample time that it needs to be great, then you probably end up with something pretty good. And then you can go on to doing something else after. But I do know that people can do two things at once. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like, of course, I can draw and speak at the same time. Like, I'm not saying all multitasking is impossible, but as a general rule, well, not a general rule, but you really want to give something when what you're doing, especially something important like if you're animating, you want to give it your full attention. That way, it'll be the best product. Let me say that instead. I'm not going to say multitasking doesn't really exist. I'm going to say it's good to give things your full attention. Because I could animate and listen to music at the same time. I can do it, but I won't do it because it's not really, for my sort of what I'm looking for, it's not really the most beneficial thing. I want to give something my full attention. All right, so how long will Castle Dark be? About 3 minutes. Let's see. Okay, Snowball, that's fair. I think Snowball's got the point. Oh man, that's funny. Let's see. All right. That doesn't really make sense now, does it? I think this guy's proportions are kind of off. Yeah, this should be up here. Maybe. Congrats on 50K. Thank you very much. Could have sworn Castle Dark would be about 6 minutes or something. Yeah, I really wish it was longer, but, you know, if it was 6 minutes, it would be coming out like 2 years from now, maybe a year, because, you know, animation really does take a very long time. So I'm not super glad that it's not as long as I'd like it to be, but we gotta deal with what we have, because I'm doing the first half of episode 1. If you've seen the storyboard, then you've seen the whole episode 1. This is just the first half of it. Let's see. All right, something like that. What's this guy who probably? This cape is supposed to obscure his neck, so you don't really see a lot of his neck. That turned out a little better than I thought. Although his head does look small in the profile view. Probably obscure it a little bit. Hey, what's going on, Darren T? Awesome. Let's see. Let me see if I can obscure this a little bit. Just change the perspective slightly. I always love doing this in drawings, just slightly changing the perspective so it's not a perfect profile view. It makes it, just gives the drawing, for me, it just gives it a little more life, because as an artist, I just love construction. That's like one of my, I love when drawings look really, really 3D. So just obscuring it just that little bit to make it look a little more 3D instead of like a perfect profile view, it makes all the difference for me. Okay. And I really thank you guys for watching. I really do, because it was getting to work on Castle Dark today, pretty honestly, was not the easiest thing in the world. So I appreciate you guys coming on and watching, hanging out, asking questions. It really does help me get this work done. Helps me be a little more diligent with it as well. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and of course all your support on the channel. Like, I cannot believe we have 50,000 subscribers. You guys are the best. I really can't believe it. You guys just show so much support, comments all the time. Oh man, you guys are awesome. And keep up. And I've seen one of the things that's so cool is that I've seen so many of you improve. I've seen so many of you improve from, like, you know, what you used to post. Like, I think for some of you that are on my Discord, I've seen your work from a while ago. I've seen your work now, and you guys are just getting better. You guys are looking up tutorials, learning, you're like studying and practicing. And it's so cool, because it's like, man, these guys are getting really, really good. I don't want to call anybody out, but if you join my Discord channel, you'll see them. They're just like, these guys are just getting so good at art. I've never seen, let's see, I don't think, I've been a formal teacher of art, maybe. I've never been a formal one. So of course I've taught art in like some places, not like as a job, but you know, I've taught people art before. I've taught it on my YouTube channel, but seeing that kind of progression is just so, it's awesome, guys. Watching it from, even just watching it from the edge that I'm at, from the perspective I have, you guys are just getting better constantly and constantly practicing. It's really inspiring. Help you keep it up and keep showing your work if you're comfortable, that is. I don't really show a lot of mine. Sometimes I rather just draw it, keep it to myself. But some of you guys rather post it, and that's cool. Okay, let's see. Do you want some apples? Oh man, the Invader Zim video. Watching that back was like strange. I remember every single minute making that video. That was like, wow. I just remember like exactly what I did to make that video. Some videos I don't really remember making too much. I don't have that many videos, maybe like 50 videos, maybe 75 or something. I don't know how many videos I made, but some of them I just remember exactly how I made that video. So one of those cases of memory. Let's see. I like your art style. Thank you. Appreciate that. What's going on, Voids? I see you there. Another Discord fellow. Didn't mean to call you out, but yes, one of those people that's just been improving over time. It's just so cool to see. Let's see. I want to animate, but it's too hard. Yeah, animation's not really, I don't think animation's too hard. I have to disagree. I think a lot of times people differentiate, they confuse something being hard with being like the quantity of work that it is. you know, animation is just like learning how to ride a bike. Eventually, you get used to it, and then it won't be so hard. You just focus on learning the fundamentals. What is, I think, what is legitimately difficult is finding a good mentor, finding someone, you know, especially if you don't have a lot of money to give them, you know. If you're kind of broke and you don't, and I think that's when learning something can be difficult because it's hard to find good information out there. I find that on YouTube or places like this online, a lot of people, they just kind of want the quick answer. They want the, how do you draw hands? It's like, you just do this. It's like, but a lot of times I find, I'm not calling out any YouTubers, but they kind of just give people shortcuts. And the fastest way to improve at anything is to stop looking for shortcuts. Stop looking for the way around something that when you don't even know what it is yet. You know, you have to learn the fundamentals. And, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, tell everyone, oh, you can't find your own style, you can't draw anime like some. I hear so many art teachers. Nope, I'm clipping a lot. I hear so many art teachers stories where it's like, oh, you can't draw anime. There's nothing wrong with drawing anime. As long as you practice the fundamentals, you know them, you can do any style. Style is so irrelevant when it comes to your artistic ability. And sometimes I think people focus really hard on their style, and that's cool. And then they get blamed for it. It's like, oh, you don't know how to draw. You're just this kid who draws anime. It's like, I mean, you can draw in any style. The fundamentals don't change what style you're drawing on. You can draw it Bugs Bunny style. If as long as you know your fundamentals, the art's it's gonna look good. So I forgot my point. I got so passionate about talking about style. Let's see. First time watching your live. Nice. Or seeing anyone animating in OT. OT is one of the best programs. Just when it came out, man, so thankful. Those guys do so much hard work. But yeah, animation's not too hard. It's just like riding a bike or learning how to walk when you're really young. It's just like learning anything else. Once you get the basics and you practice the basics and you apply your artistic intuition, people are going to think, dude, you're natural. When it's like, yeah, because you just took the time to learn something. I haven't even practiced all the basics of animation. And some people, I don't agree with them. Some people say like, oh, you're a great animator. It's like, I'm not even done practicing yet. I still have to work on follow through animation. I have to work. I don't even think I've done a practice session with follow through animation, on animation, overlapping action. What else? I've never really experimented with those things yet. There is so much I have to learn, guys. And so I appreciate the compliment, but really, if you just focus on the fundamentals, learning those, and then you can still have your style. You can still draw in whatever style you like. You will be a great animator. It just takes some dedication. This beat is nice. I like this one. Lo-fi is popping today. There's so many good songs on this one. Okay. Hey, Sunflower Naturals here. What's going on? I think I'm running my mouse so much. Let's see. Okay. What can I do to be better? I assume he's talking about animation. Focus on learning the fundamentals and applying what you learn from them in your work. And then just keep doing that. Rinse and repeat. You'll see it makes you like, at least for me, I'm like, wow, I can really see that I've improved. You just got to keep implementing them. Especially the fundamentals of drawing are really important too. Let's see. What about masterclass? I saved $500. I don't know about masterclass. I've never taken one, so I don't know. How did you start animation, and what motivates you. Hey, another sea bass. What's going on? How did I start animation? I started animation when OpenTunes came out. Well, really, it was when I started using Blender all that time ago, but when OpenTunes came out is when I started 2D, because I always wanted to do 2D. The way I started was I bought a drawing tablet, a cheap one, UG M708, still have it, and I just started drawing. You started using OpenTunes, or trying to figure out how to use it. So Cloudhead, you might just need to take a step back. For me, in high school, a lot of people said I was really good at drawing. Everyone always said, like, they thought, some people thought I was the best artist in school, right? I look back at those old pictures and maybe the praise got to my head because I didn't know the fundamentals. I only did sketches. I didn't, know about value. I didn't know about the types of shadows you can do, figure drawing, gesture drawing principles. I didn't know about the principles of art. So my art really was lacking in those areas. So if you think it's too hard, maybe I recommend taking a break, looking at it from seeing the full view, and just go back to the fundamentals of drawing. Because I think if you have struggled with drawing, I'm not sure if you do, if you struggle with drawing, animation is a bit too complicated at that point. You have to know how to draw in order to animate. So that's another thing, guys. If you don't know, if you're not good at drawing, or you need to get better at drawing, you got to do that in order to start animation, because you have to remember that animation is a composite art of film and drawing. At least frame by frame animation is. So if you're not good at drawing, don't feel disappointed. You're just getting started. Being a beginner is the best place to be, because you can set up the right habits as long as you take in quality information. Let's see. This frame has too much detail. No, I think it's all right. They're not gonna move. The movement's already in front, so I think it's okay. Uplifting words for artists. Thank you. Yeah, I don't mean to be so like, coming off like saying like, oh, you can't do this, you got to do that. It's just, I don't want people to believe that they can't do something when it's difficult, because nothing's really easy, So I don't want people to give up, but I mean, it's up to you. I think taking a break, like a long break, is better than giving up anything, because giving up means like you're not going back to it. It's like putting a negative on it. But if you just take a break, don't really feel like doing it, there's no pressure coming back. You just do it when you feel like it, But it's really up to you. Let's see. It's just like riding a bike. Me doesn't know how to ride a bike yet. You just gotta learn, What's a better example than riding a bike? Yeah, there's learning how to walk. You learned how to walk. You do it all the time, or at least some people learn how to walk. So yeah, let's see. What about ideas? I guess that's talking about coming up with ideas. If you watch animation, you watch movies. Really, I get ideas from anything. It can be a movie. It doesn't really have to be animation, but maybe just if you watch animation, or you watch TV, movies. Really, if you just walk outside and look at the trees, you'll get inspired. Just see people walking around. That inspires me. Everything is inspiration. So inspiration can come from an infinite amount of places. Maybe just broaden your spectrum. Try changing the scenery sometimes. Let's see. Saw the notification and hopped right on. Awesome. I'm glad it notified you, because I'm still figuring out this YouTube thing. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Hey, I'm your oldest subby, 66 plus, still learning. Thanks. Oh, let's go. I was looking for I was wondering, how do I find people who've been subscribed since like a really long time ago? 66 plus, that's a long time, my friend. I'm so glad you're still watching. It's been 5 years. It's been a long time. Ooh, this one's kind of funky. OpenTunes was called Tunes when it was launched in 1993. Did it look something like Macromedia Flash? I can't find footage of it anywhere online. I have no idea, my friend. Thank you, Timmels. Let's see. Will you be upgrading to OpenTunes 1.6 at the beginning of the year? I always have an installation of each version. I'm using 1.4 right now because complications with the project, and really I'll explain that later. I did something that was not smart, so I'm using 1.4 right now. But I'll keep a it could be like a portable installation of it just to try the features. I always keep a version of OpenTunes. So let's see. What do you like to do in your free time? I love to make music. I hope to show you guys some of the music that I make. Let's see. How do you manage animation projects and being a YouTuber, and to find out ideas about choosing a topic for about YouTube videos? That's a really good question. I'll have to answer the first question. You manage the animation projects and being a YouTuber, and I guess my answer is by not uploading consistently, like is described in my channel bio. That's a good question. See, if I was doing a good job managing it, I'd be able to answer that question well, but we'll answer the YouTube questions probably in a later live stream after the film's done, so I can give you some real advice if I have it. How many total hours have you spent on Castle Dark? That's one of the questions I want to know. I need to know that question. I can't even think of that. I can't even begin to answer that. I'll just say 4 years. There we go. That'll be my answer. I don't even know. Let's see. What computer are you using? I have a custom built rig. I had to rebuild it because it died like a couple months ago. I think that's what the newest video was about, if you saw that. How long have you been going? Oh, almost an hour. Okay, cool. I see I'm just floating around here just fixing stuff. I need to move on. Okay, let's see. Do you have any tips on it for a beginner like me just starting out? I do have a couple tips. And so before I move on to line art and coloring, I'm going to give the tips because I think that'll give me something to give me a little break. Tips for a beginner. Yeah. So if you don't know about the 12 principles of animation, you're going to want to get familiar with those and just focus on practicing those until you're comfortable with them, until you're comfortable executing them in your work. And it depends if you're a beginner. Are you talking about a beginner to animation or beginner to drawing and animation? Because that's very different. If you're a beginner to drawing, I recommend learning the fundamentals of art, the foundations of art, whatever they're called, practicing those and making little projects, small projects, not Castle Dark projects, not Castle Dark size projects. Guys, I don't regret this, but seriously, keep it small. That's my advice. Just keep the project small. So what I would do if I was learning animation right now is I would focus on practicing each of the 12 principles of animation, making an animation demonstrating each of the 12, and then maybe making one that demonstrates all of the 12. And then what I would do is I would make not a 3-minute project, but maybe a 20-second project at most, as like a big first project. And then you keep doing projects like that, and then you can build up to doing something like this. But like I did, hopping into a big project like this so early, I just can't recommend it. I really can't. Let's see. Do you have any other jobs besides YouTube? Yeah, well, animating Castle Dark, I guess that's part of YouTube. So I'm designing t-shirts for you guys. Let's see. So yeah, selling t-shirts will be one of them. I think that's it for now, though. Let's see. Castle Dark on Netflix. I don't know. I'll keep it on YouTube for now. We'll see what happens later on. Okay, so now we can get moving. I'm gonna go get a sip of water and I'll be right back. And I was just talking about this. I feel, and this is just my opinion, I feel like sometimes when it comes to some people seeing something as hard, they confuse the actual difficulty of it for the quantity of it. If I'm honest about Castle Dark, nothing was really, only a few times I can say things were really hard, like difficult. Like I didn't know where to turn next. But the rest of it is just the sheer quantity of work is just daunting. Like, it was really just so much work to do. It's not difficult work, it's just a lot. So sometimes people might say something's hard when they mean that there's a lot to do, when it's not really something that's difficult for them. They just have to find some time, or they just have to, just do it. Just get to it. So the more specific you are when you go to a mentor, you get like a professional animator to help you, which I'm not. You want to be specific about what you're struggling with. Say, like, instead of saying it's hard, say it's difficult for me to, or I can't seem to find the time for it. It's my attention span is low for it. May just be a problem of focusing. And that way, the more specific you are about what your challenge is, what's preventing you from practicing, the easier it'll be to actually implement some strategies to help solve it. So be very specific in your goals and honest about what's holding you back. And then I think there's really no way you can fail, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. This guy's head is bigger in the reference. Do you think animation is good for a full-time job? Depends on what you're doing. I think for me, making this animated series, if that could be a full-time job, that would be the best job in the world. But if you're making animations, like say you're making assets for stream assets, you're selling stream assets, animation, like that would be a pretty cool job too. So it depends on what you mean by good. Like what good depends on what's good for you, Is Flipakip a good app to start off? Yeah, same thing. If you're just beginning, I mean, to determine whether it's a good app is really up to you. Because for me, I can just be on YouTube, right? Just drawing, and I'm feeling some certain way someday. Like, no, Flipakip isn't a good app, but then I could just be wrong about that. So I could just have an opinion about it. Maybe it doesn't apply to you because the way you like to work. So you gotta maybe open it up and try it out. Give it a go. Let's see. Are you a freelancer or a student? I'm not a freelancer on the animation side. As for a teacher, yes, technically. Or a student. I'm definitely a student of when it comes to animation, I guess, teaching myself, looking up videos and stuff. Let's see. Let's make the new layer. What's it called? using Pretzel Rocks right now, so anytime I favorite a song, it kind of makes a radio for you. And so I can kind of get a roster of songs to play during live streams that are really cool, which is nice. Let's see. Can I do a drawing tablet giveaway? I do want to do one. It's a little more complicated than it seems though, so maybe one day, we'll see. How many people do we have watching now? Some people had to go, right? Let's say 28. Thank you guys for sticking around. Appreciate that. And thank you, I know you can't hear me right now. Thank you if you joined at all. They're gone, they can't hear me, but thank you guys for joining. See, that number went up. Hello, whoever just joined. Let's see. Let's get back here. All right. Enough for that. Let's get to work. Yeah, I use raster layers now because yeah, the vectors were a bit too slow for me. So many good art tutorials on YouTube. There's so many awesome teachers who just share their knowledge. This guy, I watched a video, can't really remember what the YouTuber's name was, but about line art, and he spoke Japanese, so there were subtitles. I read the subtitles, and the tips he gave are just awesome. I'm gonna try to demonstrate them in this drawing right now. Although they're mainly for line art when it comes to illustration, not necessarily animation. But we're doing illustration right now since these characters aren't moving, so we can take the tips and use them. All right, back. What are you planning on doing once you finish this animation? So I'm definitely gonna take a break, be on hiatus for maybe a month or two. No, not two. I think 2 months is too long. I get ideas for stuff so often I could never sustain that long on break. Like before you see a video, it might be that long. I don't know if things come up, but I'm drawing all the time. Let's see. Yeah, so when I'm playing on this, I want to focus on making videos for you guys, helping you guys learn animation if you find it a struggle. Let's see. One thing I find that's another thing that's actually not just a quantity of work, that's actually difficult for me is decision making. And I find that the time I find it difficult to make decisions, like I don't know where to turn, is when I'm usually just trying to get something done quickly. I don't really want to spend a lot of time on it, but I want it to look great, and I don't gather the adequate reference. Usually when I'm rushing just to try to get like a good product really fast is usually when I don't find the best success. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm making the outer line of this character very thick, and the inner lines a little thinner. That was what I learned from that video I watched recently. Great video. And the person, there was a couple videos I watched on line art, but the person who spoke Japanese who did this, you've probably seen the tutorial. It was like 6 signs that you're not good at line art or something like that. That was it called. Because look, gotta be honest with myself, I'm not that good at line art. I'm really not. It's one of my weaknesses. That's why I always sketched. Like I was always like sketching things. I never finished things because I just did not feel comfortable doing line art. But just like anything else, you apply yourself to it, you can get better at it, you know? It was like 6 signs you're not good at line art. The person in the video, they just went over, like all the tips were things I did not expect. I expected them to go over like, oh, you gotta know line weight, you gotta know, you know, thick and thin. And yeah, I think they might have mentioned it, but the tips were like nothing that I expected. And I learned a lot from that video. Highly recommend it. I think I might have shared it on here. I'm not sure. Let's see. Hey Noble, it's been a while. How have you been? It's been good. Castle Dark is almost done. On the second to last scene. I didn't think I'd ever be saying that, but I can legitimately say it because it's true. Let's see. Been working on so many animations. See this let's see. Axel went on a break just to work. Just pump out those animations. Let's see. I would love if you could do more streams more often. You motivate me, sir. I'm glad I've been a source of some motivation. I hope that's usually true, but sometimes streams help, especially during this phase in production, because it's just like there's still a lot left to do. For me, it's been a bit difficult to not to slow down right now. Like I'm almost done. Like it seems like a time you would never slow down, but when you're in it, it's like, oh, all right, I'm almost done. So what's the rush, you know? Sometimes you want to take a break, but it's streams like this that really help you just kind of like almost like slap you in the face and just get into it. Like focus, we're almost there, you know? So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let's see. What was the main purpose to choose pigs as Castle Dark's key characters? I don't know if I can elaborate on that a little too much, but it's just as the series goes on, you'll see. Let's see. Let's put this. Yeah, so some lines are thicker because they're overlapping something else. One of the things that's a little frustrating is that I learn this stuff and I apply it, so like different scenes of Castle Dark will look a little too different for my tastes, but I've decided to just let that go. The start of the film looks way worse than the end of the film. Well, let me say it like this. The end of the film looks better than the start of the film. We'll keep it positive. We'll keep it a positive comparison. So, but I just learned to deal with it because it's my first film. It's not like anyone's going to be like, oh, it's not consistent, you're terrible. And if they are, it's like, ah, well, I happen to think differently. So, agree to disagree. Let's see. How are you so cool? Thank you for the compliment. Let's see. How did you get the motivation to animate? It doesn't come easily. I'll be honest. How do you get it? Something that helps me when I don't want to work on Castle Dark, because believe me, it happens very often. And I think a lot of you can relate to just, you have this project, maybe you do. Some of you can relate. You have a project. Some people out there do have a project that's like what I'm doing right now. They have their like the project that they want people to see, and you love the project, right? But you don't working on it. You don't love it all the time. And what I've learned is that, to me, I just accept the fact that sometimes it's just work, and it's not fun. You don't really enjoy it that much, and you don't really want to do it. Although, like, I love the series Castle Dark, but it's okay to be tired of working on it. It's okay to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, if you let it, if you say like, oh man, but I love this series, I have to, it can kind of, at least for me, it makes me more tired when I think about it that way. But if you just accept that I feel it, you don't feel like working on it right now, but you do it anyway because you want to get it done, it has helped me to kind of keep pacing myself and just accept like, okay, I don't want to do it, but I'm doing it because of the goal that I set. Keeping my goal in mind has helped me. So that's where I get some of the motivation from. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard are actual animes to animate? So you got to be a little more specific with what you mean by hard. Like the analogy earlier, sometimes something isn't really difficult, it's just a lot of work. Like I don't think what I'm doing right now is difficult. I'm seemingly at least I'm having a pretty good time. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see if it looks good, but I wouldn't say what I'm doing right now is hard for me. But as for, is it a lot? Like, yeah, there's a lot to do. So when you talk about animes, they're made by companies. So that's like a lot of people working on that thing. So is it hard for them to do it? Could be. If they're not skilled at it, they lack experience. Or it could just be a lot of work. So I'm not sure which hard you're talking about. As for expensive and quantity of work, it's very expensive and there's a lot to do. So on a scale, this project has a lot of weight. This doesn't look too bad. Let's put some thin lines on here. Kind of just let it. It's a little too similar to the one I have. Do I have the files for the Zim Kimi animation? Oh man, I have no idea. I really don't know. I think I do. I should. All the OpenTune stuff got saved in the crash, so that should be good. How long would the first episode be? About 3 minutes. Be about 3 minutes long. What were you thinking when you first started this animation? I actually have a video I'm gonna link in the chat, and I will show you precisely what I was thinking, because I'm talking as I'm saying this. I'll show you precisely what I was thinking when I started this animation. It's called Secret Project Reveal, and it has 871 views. So those are most likely from all the way back then. I don't think many of you have seen it, but maybe Heave Animation has seen it, because he usually watches some of the old stuff. I'm a little bit embarrassed, but so take it with a grain of salt. This is I'll just take off the timestamp there. There's that video is what I was thinking when I started Castle Dark. Okay, do I plan on doing 3D animation? Yes, I do. I started in 3D animation, but My heart was always in 2D animation. And so once OpenTunes came out, I just came off of Blender, started using OpenTunes. But now that Blender has 2D animation incorporated, I'm liking what I can't even speak. I'm moving back to it. Not like I'm ditching OpenTunes and moving back to it. I'm just using it, you know. You don't have to only use one program. I'm also clipping, so let me give my microphone a break. Let's see. Yeah. I think I really want to do a comparison between OpenTunes and Blender. Because people are going to want me to, I don't know, they might want me to say which one's better, but it might be that, I don't know, because it's actually harder than you think, because I'm not usually the guy that says, oh, this is better than that. But if that's, like, you want my honest opinion about it, right now I have no idea, because OpenTunes, well, performance-wise, it's obviously Blender, but OpenTunes, the features that it has, I have to really explore Blender to see if they have those features, because Blender, since it has 3D, it has, like, almost limitless possibilities, it seems like. But if you've seen some of the effects in OpenTunes, you just be like, wait a minute, this guy's really got a rap on 2D animation, so we'll have to see. And also depends, obviously, because OpenTunes can't do 3D animation, so if in that battle it loses. But for 2D animation, when we're talking just about straight up features, we'll have to see. Because Blender's 2D animation feature is really good, and OpenTunes is also really good. So we'll have to see which one is quote unquote best. Of course, it's not best for everyone, you know. All right. My favorite part about working on Castle Dark was definitely the rough animation, and let's see, what else? I don't know. Maybe hanging out with you guys on a stream like this, most likely. I have to really think about that. What is some wisdom you can share about making an animation series? Wisdom. I like the way you asked the question. Makes me seem wise. Animation is like, I can't speak in like a typical wise sort of tone. Let's see, wisdom. I have some, I can tell you something from my experience. I don't know if it's wisdom though. It might be conjecture at best. Making an animation series, be organized and make sure you have okay, this song slaps, I gotta be honest. Make sure you have a well thought out plan. That didgeridoo is awesome. It sounds like video game music to me for some reason. Hey, what's going on, Tomo? When I jumped into your animated series, was I scared to start? I don't know if it was scared, but I might have overlooked the amount of work that it was. So I wasn't scared at all. I think I was a bit, I overlooked how much work it would actually take to make it a reality. But no, I don't think I was scared. I wish Blender had a compositor where you didn't have to export the animation and import it back into Blender. Oh, that's true. Oh, that makes sense. Like for the video editor as well. I thought it did have a compositor, but it might be that that's used for something else, not like I know OT has its like output thing that you can use. Lots of exploring to do, guys. Lots of exploring to do and discovery to be made. All right, let me just get this thing going. Literally, because we're gonna be moving this. I like that didgeridoo. Can you guys hear the music? Wouldn't it be so funny if this whole time I'm talking about music and you guys can't even hear it? What is your go-to animating drawing pad for beginners? I gotta say the UG M708 was my first one. Nowadays, I would recommend that. I'd recommend the Artist 12 Pro if you really want a display tablet. That one's perfectly fine. Let's see. If you want to go bigger, I use the Artist 24 Pro, although it was sent to me by XP Pen for review. But I don't know if I'd buy it. It's a bit expensive, and you know, it might not. If you're talking about like cost effectiveness, maybe you'll get a little more value out of something a little cheaper. I'd recommend maybe the Innovator 16 from XP Pen or the Artist 15.6, because I figure that performance is basically all the same on them. As long as it has a laminated screen, you should be pretty good. The Artist 12 Pro is awesome, man. I think, although I use the 24 every day, the Artist 12, like from the ones I've used, has I think the screen, like the drawing experience is better on the 12 than the 24. That looks pretty good. So much rhythm in this music, I love it. Did I ever play Crash Bandicoot games? I've never played them. Yeah, I just say, like, if we're talking just sheer drawing experience, bigger screen, so that can be useful in a higher resolution. So that's useful for different reasons. Like, you know, it's nicer to use in software, you know, because your windows can be smaller. You have more space to draw, obviously, but also because of the resolution, not just because of the size. But as for like just the straight up pen on screen, I gotta say the 12 Pro is my favorite in the comparison between the two. That's why I think the 15-inch version would probably be the best look if you're looking for something that's between them. It's pretty cheap too. You can get the Innovator 16 for like maybe $300, and that's really good. Let's see. Can you tell me, knowledge-wise, one about growing an animation channel? A lot of my channel came from people looking for OpenTunes tutorials, and then when I started talking about my animated series, that video got really popular. So maybe just keep doing what you love and working really hard to make it the best you can, and people will appreciate it. Yeah, so if you want to go bigger in the future, I would recommend, I haven't used them, so I can't like recommend it like how I can recommend the 24 Pro, because I literally have it in front of me right now. Probably the Innovator 16. That's what I would buy. Personally, like if I didn't have a tablet but I needed, like say I still had my regular pen tablet and I wanted to upgrade to something to like finish Castle Dark on, it would be the Innovator 16 for me. Oh, this one's good too. I like this one. What is your most timing part in your animated series during the making? I think maybe you mean tiring part. Because if we're talking tiring, it's the line art that we're doing right now. This stuff just takes forever. The stream, Heave, the stream cut out for a second. It was telling me it gave me a little notification. So, but we're back, it seems like. Have you ever made an anime-styled animation and struggled with the sketch and blurs for, let's say, the sword swing? Yeah, I haven't, but I think when it comes to that, the only advice I can give, that's not an animation problem. That's a drawing thing. So really focus on, and you can do this in the anime style. This is, you know, artistic advice should go beyond style. So don't let anyone tell you can't draw a certain style. As long as you demonstrate that you know what you're doing, you know the fundamentals of art. Those will help you improve. You know, no one can tell you that you can't draw in a certain style, because style doesn't really matter. Even these painters, what they call realism, is a style, right? And there's different people who have different ways of drawing realism. So, yeah, if you struggle with the swoosh on a sword swing, maybe a drawing thing. If you struggle with the sketch of something, so. Maybe you need some more reference, or you need to practice your fundamentals a little more, like anatomy or something like that. Once he ran into the night guy, the stream stopped working. Funny. His internet cut out. How do I make each element pan in the scene? Well, using the animate tool, I manually move them. But if I was going to make a tutorial on this, I would show you how to make OpenToonz do it all automatically and still have it look like this perspective effect. Because that's part of what makes OpenToonz so special, is that it can do that automatically. But I just did this myself so I can have more control over each element. Will I make a video about the making of Castle Dark of course I'm gonna make a video about making Castle Dark. Could you imagine I finish this whole thing and then I just go like, yeah, well, you know, it was hard, and then I just leave it at that? I'm gonna make several videos about making Castle Dark, because this experience, I think it can be really, really helpful to you guys. At least I think so. If you think so, we're all both on the same page, and I'll see you guys when those videos come out. I am so making videos about this. You won't be able to stop me making videos about this. Will I ever make a second channel? I was thinking about making a music channel, so it can keep things organized. So yeah, maybe. How did I struggle as a beginner? Okay, this will be the last question I answer, because gotta get going now. Thank you guys, for coming, helping me, for coming to watch the stream, helping me get this work done, because it was difficult today. Today was one of the days you don't feel like working on it. So I decided to surprise you guys with a stream, surprise myself with a stream, and get it done. So, how did I struggle as a beginner? For me, I've been drawing my whole life, but looking back, something that was holding me back was overconfidence. The compliments of people kind of get to your head sometimes, and you start to think of yourself as an artist. Like, I am an artist. You identify as yourself as an artist. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there was no, until I introduced, it took a little me getting, looking at it with the more humble point of view, seeing that I don't know everything, and I really didn't know that much, to be honest. When I kind of took that point of view, wait a minute, let me just observe things, and from the lens that I don't know everything, that there's so much more to learn, then I was able to really open my mind and really just start learning and taking in knowledge. This music is perfect for this speech. Overconfidence can make you feel like you don't need to learn something, that no one can teach you anything. But really, when I just took a step back and really started to learn the fundamentals again, my work really started to improve, and I started to be happier with the result. So As a beginner, I struggled because I was a bit narrow-minded. I just wanted to make cool sketches. I was, limiting myself to one style. I was always drawing like anime. Well, not I called it manga because I read comics a lot. I was only drawing in that style, and until I realized I can branch out and really learn a lot. Until I realized that things were frustrating for me when I couldn't figure out why my drawings didn't look good. So that's what I struggled with as a beginner. All right, guys, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. I really do. It really helps. Let's see. Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys later. Peace.